Welcome back to the To Be Fair Show. I am your host, Johnny P.
Oh, yeah, real.
It's Q.
And we back.
What up? What up?
So episode 14,
Yep.
season 2. We moving along. I want to kick it off with a go subscribe to the YouTube. The To Be Fair Show. We doing pre-shows 12:31 every Sunday. Somewhere around there. We'll put it on the IG.
Yep.
Hit the notification button, like, comment, and subscribe below. But yeah, we'll kick it off. I'll drop it down to Q.
The no look.
Got you. So yeah, now I guess in popular topics on the internet right now, Freaknik has kind of had the internet going crazy. All the aunties and uncles, I guess we'll say they've been kind of giving their opinion on or their thoughts on Hulu's documentary that's coming out that is going to chronicle the 1994 Freaknik. From my understanding, like, just the antithesis of Freaknik came from maybe it was supposed to be black spring break for all the kids that couldn't go home inside the Atlanta area. So that was like the Spelmans, the Morris Browns, the Clark Atlanta, X, Y, and Z. And from that, it kind of grew into like this cultural explosion in which a bunch of black people from everywhere came down to Atlanta at this specific time, and it was a bunch of partying. It was spring break. It was like what would be Cancun for black people in Atlanta.
Oh, so these were college-aged people that we're talking about.
That's what it was based around. But yeah, I mean, it was a younger thing. But I'm sure it's like Bike Week. Or like any of those things. Typically, it's based around that, but then it becomes an industry. CIAA will be another example.
So according to Complex, it started in '82 as a small picnic that was thrown by Spelman and Morris Brown students. That's what it started as, according to Complex.com.
Yeah.
Picnic.
Yeah. So its roots came from like just the college spring break thing. And that eventually evolved itself into what the whole little cultural thing of Freaknik was. That eventually, I think it got banned between 97, 98, 99, somewhere in there. It didn't make it to the 2000s.
It got banned for what?
Just because of
nigga shit.
Everything that it was bringing to the city, pretty much. During that 1 week, I'm sure, just like everything else, it starts to traffic and bring in the wrong type people in crowd, and it's going to be shootings. It's going to be whatever. Yeah. So that's a quick little background on the whole little Freaknik jump. I don't know what do y'all think about it? I just kind of toss it up. People kind of like being a little bit anxious about this Freaknik documentary just because of what might be on it.
I'll say Freaknik's always something that I felt like I was mad I wasn't a little bit older.
Yeah.
So that was like one of the ones I've always like, heard about it.
Yeah, I think my uncle a Freaknik veteran. Shout out to Uncle Timmy.
Yeah, I got some cousins that
I know you're Bike Week veteran.
Some of my older cousins, and I was always like, damn, if I was just 10 years older. But I'll say I ain't really heard none of the uncles tripping about like, what's going on. Because I think the uncles done had they didn't got handed the shit already. They didn't already been through the judgment, and I feel like it's just this is me personally. Like, I don't see I feel like it's a lot of like I feel like it's a lot of the aunties that are a little worried. I feel like it's gonna be wild. We're gonna see a different type of.
And I mean, as a man, what is it that you go and what is it that you're doing that could be like, oh man, they're seeing me do what?
I can answer that.
Go ahead.
So I think that the anxiety of a guy, especially if like you inside like an executive space or like a managerial space, would be the lens that you could look at Bike Week from, Freaknik from, when it comes down to great culture, when it comes down to just all of that, like that newer lens of cancel culture and how it views even like the hollering at women. I forget what's the word that they call it? Catcalling and like all that shit. But just imagine being like somebody that's inside like a C-suite position, and younger you was getting caught grabbing a girl's ass unconsensually. that could look like something, and that could like have quote unquote ramifications. I imagine that's probably, of course, during that time. To me, it was a different era in which, like, during their, I don't even want to unpack it that far to like overly justify anything, but I think that most things that was happening at Freaknik was consensual. Do I think that there were some unconsensual things? Sure. I think that probably would be a little bit more of the minority, but I think most people was going down there on like they free love and expression type shit. But yeah, did I answer it?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we gonna. I don't really know what to expect. Only thing I can think of is like a bunch of twerking and drinking and fucking. I mean, a whole bunch
of fucking in the back of trucks.
Yeah.
I have a question. Is the documentary already available, or is it?
I don't think so. I look
it
for
drops the 20-something. Of this, like 22nd, 27. Within a couple weeks. It's
we got to bring back a panel of Freaknik veterans.
That would be.
We got to find like 1 or 2 of them.
That would be lit. That would be lit. Like sit down and see. So what really happened? But I see what you're saying though. As far as like, if I was a guy, I mean.
But I ain't trying to put a lot of sauce on that though.
Yeah, I mean, I can see
I don't think that's a main thing. But if there was a thing,
I was coming from the mindset of like I saw somebody say we finna find out why mamas don't like social media. Like,
that's actually the take that I was about to go with.
Yeah, and that's where when I said the aunties, I guess it's just from like women may be concerned from that perspective as far as like it's 20 years later, I'm a totally different person. You know, it's the same thing with a guy, but. It's the tough seeing some of your mamas and aunties out there like compromising. You know, that's just I can only imagine. Like, I could only imagine.
I seen one lady.
People
she
that
said
you're related to on that joint, and you might see them. You know, she might be a deaconess. She might be in the church.
No, that's funny right there.
And then you see her, you be like, "Damn."
Okay, so who was the producer of this? That's what I need to know.
I don't know who's producing. I know it's a Hulu type of thing. But
it's one of them documentaries. I kind of feel like they should have left where it was at. Like
to me, I don't care.
I think it's been long enough to do it. Though.
I know. I think
some stuff go come down.
Oh no, I'm for sure watching it.
I'm watching it, but I think some stuff I think some stuff about to come out of this. That's like.
They had Kanye.
We're not really.
I
seen
the clip. They had Kanye there.
Like, this is what I think.
I saw that video. I didn't know it was from that though.
I think that in general, all this does is it's another version of humanization of every single generation doing the exact same thing. And I think that to me that's kind of like one of my most consistent things is that with Freaknik, or we can go down Bike Week, or we can go down like the little senior skip. Like it's pretty much like all the exact same behaviors all the way that leads up into today with social media, where we just see it in our face more. That you can go to the 80s and 70s and like the exact same behaviors always happen. And I think that that's the part of like that youthful, like whatever that age group is. And it's not been a generation that hasn't exhibited it from the 60s on up that I can think of. Oh, yeah. And to me, like,
they had
that's where I think when we start giving pleas.
Woodstock.
Woodstock. Like they had like the 70s was cocaine, drugs, and free sex and all that shit. But just in general, the way I look at it is just giving the grace to the current time because of they're doing the exact same thing that all of us have always done, just with new tools.
That's a good point.
And that's my main thing is that all it's about to do is take you off that high horse, that pedestal, and humanize you just with them kids.
It's a humbling
experience. Yeah. You was just talking about them twerking. You caught in 94 and
little Daisy
it's kind of like 360p. It ain't 1080 or nothing like that. It's like 1060, not 10, like 380p, 360p, 120p. Twerking, but it's all the same shit.
No, that SD standard definition.
That's what that is. Yeah. I don't know.
So the producer of Freaknik is actually Jermaine Dupri. He in Netflix.
That's interesting.
That's kind of
Netflix is doing it.
Yeah, it says Netflix and Jermaine
Hulu.
Dupri. Oh, my bad, y'all. It is Hulu. Rewind. Take that out. So, the producer of the Freaknik documentary is Hulu and Jermaine Dupri.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. And I was going to ask, like, build on it. Like, of course, we know, like, each generation they all do like humans are humans. We got the same motivations as people did 200 years ago. We get hungry, eat. You gotta take your shit. You gotta take a bath.
And then move off the pleasure principle.
It's all basically the same. But like, do you think the internet has exacerbated the culture, or do you think it has like dumbed it down? You think they were more wild than we were because there weren't cameras? Or do you think we're any less wild or more wild because of the cameras?
I just think it's the same, bro.
Nah, I want to respond to that one. I think it has exacerbated it. I don't think it's the same. I think so too. And I think what's gonna come out of this documentary is Freaknik's probably gonna make a return, and it's gonna be a much more worse thing than it was back then. Because even if you look at the footage, they was wild, but they wasn't as wild as like some of the stuff I see these days, man.
I don't think that anything I see on the internet today is close to what Freaknik was. Like they were like. They in a lot of like the bike weeks, like I've had like my uncle, and this was like when we was younger. They had the camcorders and like when all the boys there, he played the footage and shit like that, right? And from that to what the different stories that I've heard of Freaknik, there's nowhere that I know of where people are going and they're fucking random people in broad daylight in the back of trucks and cars, randomly. I don't know of women that's walking down the street and getting fucked in traffic in real time.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I just don't
you're
know
right about
that.
That sounds shit.
I just thought about
is what was happening.
Yeah, I just thought about something I seen. I'm like, yeah.
So you think people are not doing that because their cameras around? Like you think we're not as wild because I can get caught seeing this?
I think if it to me again, I like to say on the sense that I think that it's pretty much the same. But in general, I think that if I had to err on the side, I'd say that I don't know of places where most of that shit is happening in public right now. I can't point to a single spot. Back in the 90s, you could point to a bunch of them because you had a little level of anonymity.
For sure.
And you can go somewhere and never be seen and never see that person again, where you can get tagged up now.
Think about
Google got the facial search thing. Like
you'll go viral,
and think about those stories where people are like, oh, I met this person when I was on vacation. Help me find him. And then people are hitting the person DM like, oh, I found him.
That shit, you couldn't have did that after Freaknik. Yeah, you couldn't have did that.
I think my opinion on Freaknik is I think it was a time where people were just carefree. They did what they wanted to do. It was what it was. Hopefully, if nobody was harmed by anyone's actions, it just kind of is what it is.
I ain't about to look at no.
I agree with that. Yeah, I ain't finna judge nobody.
Right. It is what it is.
Well,
because people
I don't want to look at nobody differently.
I will go look at if I see you on there, then it's you can't be saying certain stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I want to not look at you differently, but there's certain like if you was just out there twerking, I ain't got you got all the pleas. I ain't got nothing for you. But if you was one of those in the back of that Honda Civic or that Cadillac,
you think that's what they're gonna show?
I don't know. So I'm sure that they're going to dip into like all aspects of it. If they make a good, well-rounded documentary, I think that, and they show it in a fair light, they'll probably show it at the beginning of it. They'll show like the fun, the twerking shit. They'll show some of like the more
serious
issues, and some of the like what's the word?
Because
more
it was
like
banned,
more sex and shit like that as well.
Controversial.
Yeah, no, I think that if it's a full circle documentary, they should show all of it, and I'm cool with them showing all of it. And I ain't really got too much of a problem with all of it. Like I went to spring break in maybe that was 2010, and knew of girls that was going to hotels and fucking. Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't like a different thing either. Like it's literally something that not pretty much every single culture, every single generation has done. And it's just changed location.
I was gonna say,
and it's not a black culture thing either. I want to make sure I explain that as well. Because of white people just had different destinations. But you hear them talk about the spring breaks in Daytona and Cancun the exact same way.
We've all seen them shits. Look, all that, what is it, Girls Going Wild. We've seen a lot of their scenarios.
And that's what I just want to make sure it doesn't seem like it's heavy-handed on black either. I think that it's just literally...
But it's crazy. What caused it? The only thing, like, I don't care about all of that type of shit. But I wonder what it was that got it banned. Because obviously, it was.
Well, it says when I had Googled it, it didn't really. Well, I didn't get like the detailed answer, but it said politicians and the police department decided that it needed to go. So I didn't really read deep into what those specific reasons were that led them to that conclusion, but
But I could imagine the things that made it popping is what got it banned. Like public nudity, like big traffic stops of like people just doing shit or whatever. And that could just be like twerking.
Level of ignorance that like, I don't if that. But I can't say that. Of course, we're comparing a specific event to the whole society. When you say, do you think it's gotten worse or better, or is it worse now than it? You know what I mean? We're speaking of a specific event where that was what they were going to do versus us talking about just day to day. You know what I mean? Experiences today. So we can't really say that whether that's better or worse. And then like I ain't never been to Bike Week, so you know what I mean. I can't really act like I know of this place where everybody's looking to do extra shit.
I done been to Bike Week. I done seen like
Miami spring break ain't no different. Like if you just on that strip and walking, like females are gonna holler at you as well, and it's pretty much everybody's there looking for a hookup. And that was my experience there. If you got lucky, you got a hookup. If you didn't, hey. But like everybody was thirsty for a hookup of some sort.
I think also like those environments are a time, like I said before, where people can just go. Nobody really knows you. You can really act an ass and do what you want to do and leave. And a lot of people you're never going to see again. It's a time for people to really just do what they want to do and have minimal like repercussion. Well, they're smart, have minimal repercussion from it.
Well, no, I was gonna say I've seen like the Bike Weeks and stuff, like. Even in our generation, we went down there and
no, that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I included myself. I remember that.
The question is, do you want that on video? Like, would you want that footage to come out now? Like some of the stuff you did. And I think.
Would you want it? I don't think nobody.
Nobody wants.
And that's what I'm saying. I think they should leave that documentary where it's at.
Yeah, that to me it seems like they should.
I mean, if it's something crazy, just blur out the face. But I also like it's a documentation of a cultural time and moment, and I like looking at like things that happened during different times because it allows me to get a better perspective of how I see everything in general. And I wouldn't need it to be like completely like censored to where like now I have a false sense of like conservatism when it comes down to college or 20-year-olds and 90s or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, hey. If it was what it was, again, if you need to protect somebody's sanctity and like blur them out or something like that, but if it's as long as it's a fair documentary that's documented well and shows all sides of it, because there is going to be some negative shit. Like even if you watch BMF, like Meech and them, they went up during Bike Week and had like a little scenario that happened and shit like that. Like it was a lot of things that were happening, and yes, show all of it. But I think that documenting Black culture in the same way that they document white culture is also good. They don't have no problem documenting sex, drugs, and rock and roll from the 60s to the 80s, and is never looked at inside a crazy type of way. All these groupie women are turned into soccer moms and got off cool and ain't no problem with it. So like for me, to me, humanize all people, all cultures, all races, and understand that every single generation does the exact same thing, no matter the hue. At least here in America. I'll speak specifically to America. That's my point.
It's a good thing we're going to be able to have this conversation again. Because the movie's coming out.
Yeah, good. Hey, I was thinking about this. The meme I sent y'all boys in the group chat. I don't know if we want to... Can we pull it up here? Is that a possibility?
What percentage of women do you think that had trained right now?
They got some nose in the back.
Was that like a normal thing when you were growing up? Like just like, hey,
check both ways.
Okay.
But it's like he got closer to realizing that he had a ring.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of people that experience when they were young.
Bro, thank you, bro.
If you know, you know. If you don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Nah,
Bro, shit was sweet right here.
What percentage of women do you think that had trained right now?
See, that nigga thought he was only talking about body count or some shit like that. He said you gotta be able to tell her anything. when he started finding out his girl was like really for the streets. That's
like, bro gonna go when they get off this shit. He gonna ask her some questions, and her answers is gonna destroy that man.
No, she ain't gonna answer him directly.
Yeah,
she ain't gonna answer them shit.
She actually answered it in there.
Yeah, that was enough. You didn't put yourself out there. She ain't finna really answer anything.
Like, babe, please tell me you the 5%.
Maybe she meant 95% of her friends, and not 95%.
No, he said of women.
Of women.
Yeah,
he said of women.
She gave a very specific answer, and that means like, all her friends that she hang around with.
Where's she from?
Down. She said Chicago.
Throw her and the whole friend group away.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe she just interpreted it as 95% of her friends.
It's toxic things to say in here too.
Yeah,
but yeah, all right. So I don't know. I guess if we wanted to bring it back full circle to Freaknik, I don't know. I feel like, bro, you had like a pushback somewhere in there about something or anything.
I mean, talking about. Well, I was just agreeing with A. Dot. I don't see like. Well, you know how I stand. I don't stand on getting. I don't find the extra shit entertaining. You know what I mean? I don't find that stuff entertaining. So I just feel like, I think we'd be better without it. I understand you saying that it's like something to be able to document how people did in the night. I don't give a fuck. I don't see any just a whole bunch of black folk looking crazy.
Do you think
as we can look and see that shit in all of these movies, all of these series, we can see that shit all the time. I'm cool on it. I live in the hood, so I see the shit in real life. Enough of it.
In real life?
I see enough of it in real life that I don't need.
You ain't never caught no titties on Sugar Creek.
That's what I'm saying. You can see all kinds.
I don't
of
really
shit.
be seeing just titties on Sugar Creek.
Yeah,
I be seeing
ass
the tubes
walking
out there.
ass, titties, everything.
I be seeing the tubes out there.
I ain't gonna
those
lie.
also ain't like.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't be on Sugar Creek.
I saw a nigga dropping something off behind the trash can.
Yeah, but like crackhead sex is different than freak.
But what I'm saying is that I see enough of the. Enough of the shit.
Crackhead titties and ass.
Let me ask you this.
No, I need clarification. So when you say you see this stuff, is it like people just walking down the street bare naked, or is it just that they got like small clothes on?
What I say is I see enough of it. I ain't saying that it's that I watch Freaknik every day in my. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, but I see enough of the low hanging shit that it's like I'm not entertained by seeing more.
Okay, so you just see women walk around with little clothes on.
I done seen women walk around naked.
I done seen that.
Because I'm trying to understand what's going on Sugar Creek.
That wasn't freaking.
I done seen the chick like literally like hopping out the car ass naked. She was in the car getting dropped off, and she, you know what I mean, getting themselves back together. Like that stuff that.
What are you talking about? Like
that's not Freaknik stuff.
Yeah,
no, but I didn't say I seen. Like you said, I've seen enough.
I've been a boy freak girl.
No,
she was definitely a prostitute.
The little alley that he's talking about.
Yeah, she's a prostitute.
Like it's just prostitution right there. I think that.
Okay.
You done been on that alley Quintel. You said that.
No, to get to Rail's house, you got to drive by the alley.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Don't get to my house,
bro. So you're not talking about what old head house is. You drive by the two hotels. That's right there by the gas station.
Yeah,
and that drive right there is where they at.
You said to get to my house. So you said
your old house.
Houses.
So the old house that you lived at.
Okay, got you. You don't have to, but you can. You can get.
If you're getting off the highway, that's the only way to go.
Yeah, you're getting off 85, you gonna get there.
Hey,
you liable to see some ass and some titties.
Hey, Real, let me ask you this. You so you think the documentary, like you say, you think that's detrimental to the culture?
I don't think there's any benefit to it, other than entertained by looking at a whole bunch of dumb shit.
So is that bad for us? You think that's?
I mean, it doesn't benefit us. It doesn't benefit. So I guess if it doesn't benefit, then I guess it is just it's just unnecessary. I'm not entertained. So I mean, as y'all know, I stand on that consistently. I ain't never seen a BMF episode, a Snowfall. I tried to watch Power one time. In the first episode, she was trying to get fucked by his homie. I say that's enough for me. Like I see enough, and it just don't sit well with me. Us just looking it don't sit well with me. So I'm not entertained by it. If I want to see some ass, I put on some porn, bro. That's just what I would do. If that was what I was looking to do, then I would just do that, bro. I'm cool on seeing all of the, I'm cool on it. But yeah, so I'm not gonna watch it, but I ain't saying nothing about y'all do y'all thing. No, just my space.
Again, I stand on the other side. I'm interested in like the cultural aspect of it.
Shit sound good.
Nah, I mean,
even I'm interested in the culture.
I'm interested. It may be detrimental. It may be like what you say. Cause I agree with you too. Like I'm middle ground gunning on this one. Like I agree with you too. Like, I think it ain't no like benefit to it. It probably is detrimental. I think it's not good for us as black people. When it dropped, am I probably still gonna watch it? I probably am, but
I appreciate the honesty, Johnny.
Yeah, and I personally don't think that. Yeah, I personally don't think that it's detrimental to us at all. I think that it's just regular.
You think it's beneficial?
I don't think things have to be detrimental or beneficial. I think that it's entertainment. No, but so then I think we then have to go through the majority of everything that we consume, and then it has to be detrimental because it's not beneficial.
Depends on what you're watching.
No, literally everything.
I actually do agree with
There's very minimal things. So then, like, if we cast in that wide of a net, then hey, then okay, then let's like most things, like we could be like homegirl and say 95%.
But like, because I mean, the majority of stuff that's on is not to the detriment. Because you talk about sports or like you talk about most of the shit that's on.
Watching sports is not beneficial.
Most of the shit that's on. You look at the news, like
no, but like stop. We can put it as sports. Sports is not beneficial to the average person to watch. Okay. So then we have to say that it's detrimental, and that's my point. Is that some things are entertainment. So if we're only casting it that it has to be this or that, but to me, again, when I look at Woodstock documentaries and shit like that, that is not. I don't look at that as detrimental either. Like, I look at that as a documentation of a time period in which people did things, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
That's a good point he made. I'm watching it.
No, I mean, I don't think it's, but the thing is that people are going to watch it. That shit's going to, damn, Hulu might shut down for a little while. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to be watching that, Joe. I'm just saying, me personally, I'm going to sit out.
We only demonize this when black people do the exact same thing as everybody else.
Bro, I don't care about everybody else.
Right, but I care about black people being able to express
fucking
themselves.
Excuse, bro.
Hey, I was just about to say
everything, bro. We always trying to compare something to somebody else to validate.
I'm gonna let you get it off, and then I'm gonna shit on it because
we always looking at like, oh,
no, but that's not it. That's
we
not
always,
it.
and I ain't even just, but I'm talking about in general. That whole fucking statement, just hearing people use that shit is annoying.
But what's the statement that I said is that black people aren't allowed to express themselves the same way as everybody else? Like, if we're doing something that's the exact same way and only we get demonized for it, I do have a problem with it.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's not what I'm saying.
I gotta just say this.
That's a good space.
Even what you just said, though, even with what you just said, we still like comparing apples and oranges. Or this group did this bad thing, so we should be able to do this.
I don't look at
debauchery. Debauchery is debauchery, point blank. So
bro, if we say that all the time.
If y'all take it as debauchery, I don't take it as that. And that's my point. Is that it's only looked at as like debauchery and bad and horrible when black people do it. I'm not throwing that lens on it, bro.
At the end of the day, if I saw, which I wouldn't look at the white folk do this shit either.
Oh no,
I wouldn't look at because at the end of the day, it's.
But I ain't demonizing a black person for doing the same
shit. But I ain't demonized nothing. I
didn't
demonize anything. I haven't demonized a single thing.
Bro, you was just saying that I'm tired of black folk doing this shit.
I said I'm tired of black
white folk.
Yes, that's what I just said. I'm tired of people using the excuse.
But it's not a comparison if you normalize.
What I said is I'm tired of people using the excuse to do something based on the fact that someone else has done it. That doesn't demonize anybody.
Is it an excuse if you're just doing the same thing that everybody does?
Yes, it's an excuse.
I don't think you understand what excuses are. If everybody's doing something, it's not an excuse. That's
everybody's doing something. Don't make it right.
See, now that's a different word. Words make a difference in a conversation.
If you're validating it based on the fact that these people are doing it, then it is an excuse for you to do it.
All right. I think that the point that I'm making is going a little bit over here.
Let me sum it up.
No, because y'all keep using different words that don't make sense to what we're speaking about. If everybody's doing the exact same thing, and I get you, Johnny, but my thing is that if everybody's doing the exact same thing, let's all come down on everybody, or let's hold the exact same rubric for everybody.
Can I make a point?
And to me, like, if we only demonize one group, I'm not with that. And that's no matter how you put it. To me, that's not an excuse. I think that if anything, that just plays more into like whether we want to start going into like this white supremacy, like perspective of black people and being overly sexualized and all these different things.
No matter how
that's what you're leaning into. Johnny, you know what I'm talking
about. I'm gonna say this one statement. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm always gonna hold my people to a higher standard. I don't care. Point blank.
So we're gonna put. I got you. You got it.
I've been trying to get this in for a few minutes. Y'all boys been going at it. But I think we're in a space where both can be right as far as like black people. we do have to hold ourselves to a higher standard because we're in a unique situation that nobody else is in. So in order to get it out, we're going to have to do stuff that white people may not have to do to get ourselves in an equitable situation. Is that right? No. So, and that's where the accountability versus empathy come in. I'm all for empathy as far I know black people we're no different than anybody else. I get that. And the stuff that we do isn't no worse or no better than anybody else. But I also know where we are in this country to where we've been exploited and stuff. So in order to stop that, we are gonna have to go above and beyond. Like I seen on 85. Sometimes your best ain't your best. Sometimes you gotta do better than your best. So as far as like black, I think we do have to hold ourselves to a higher standard than what
we like to talk about being kings and queens, but don't nobody want a dog gonna take the standard to do it. That's all.
You know something too. Like
everybody
I think
talk about that in our culture.
I think that like we influence everything. We have the biggest influence on, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Our culture has the biggest influence on society at large. And I'm not saying that to go back into the whole demon part. I'm just saying, just in general, if we've seen how the culture has kind of just pulled and taken pieces continuously from, you know what I mean, exploited. You know what I mean. So that's also a very important piece of the conversation as well. But like at the end of the day, I'm definitely not on no because you are entertained by said thing or because you are doing. I'm definitely not coming to demonize anybody. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think that there's also that accountability piece, as you said. Hey, if that's what you find entertaining, then be entertained. I'm not entertained by the shit. So the way I feel about it is gonna be how I feel about it. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, that's just what it is.
Yeah, no, I feel it. I guess my last little thing to leave it off with is I say normalize allowing black people to be human. And that's where I'll kind of like put my stamp at. Where again we can speak about it, but it's always interesting to see the reception of when that Caucasian woman put them braids in her hair. I think that's really interesting. When them white kids listening to Young Boy in comparison to black kids, it's interesting. Seeing who's all at them Young Boy concerts, that's interesting. I think that normalizing black men, women, kids, and specifically, we're kind of talking about like college age kids, and having a human experience that we see all humans do. That's my only thing that I'm gonna put at. Again, if we want to say that it's debauchery, cool, and I won't even say that it's not, right? But I would like to hold everybody to the same standard if we're gonna lay heavy on one hand. That's it.
Hey, we was the first ones here, so we always gonna have a higher standard. But yeah. That's the thing. Yeah, where we going? What you got, Johnny?
I thought that was a good place to leave it off at.
You gotta say that.
You gotta say that.
I think that's a good place to leave it off at. We'll put a pin in it right there.
What else you got for us, Johnny?
Now we'll go. I wanted to talk about. Well, my question was, what are the benefits? Or let me put I preface it a little bit. We always, here we've talked about AI. We've had multiple conversations about like where AI can lead us and some of the potential downfalls or detriments. But I wanted to kind of go on the opposite and be like Tyler just said, be a little bit of proactive when it comes to black culture and black people, and be like, what are some of the benefits or potential benefits of AI to black culture, and where could we maybe use some of our influence that we just discussed and some of our like creativity to use AI to take that to the next level.
What did you come up with?
All right, so I think that a benefit, one of the easiest, quickest benefits, I think, is going to be for a very specific sect of black people, which would be the entrepreneur. And I think that with the entrepreneur, there are a lot of outlets inside the AI space, even content creators, even like the spaces that we're at, where it's going to be able to lessen the workforce. So, like, for example, like you have AIs that's able to chop videos. You have AIs that's able to, I haven't seen the AIs that's like actually able to like manage social media and different shit like that. But if we even in the sense of, it's a lot of different things, even when it comes down to design. outsourcing different like ideas and different shit like that. All of these things are becoming accessible at a lower price point, and a lot of them are free. Like if we look at ChatGPT, I forget what the app on Discord is. Can't think of it off the top of my head.
I know what you're talking about. I think ChatGPT like $20 a month though.
Cool, but
which is basically free.
But just in general, like there is a abundance of resources that will be able to shorten a lot of the minute, monotonous things. As well, I think that there is the good and bad of an access to overwhelming information, in which, if directed in a proper manner, it can benefit Black culture, Black people, Black entrepreneurs at a high rate.
Yeah, I want to know what you came up with.
Oh, well, mine is very similar to him. I mean, I have some specific.
Nigga trying to steal my answers.
No, this is my question.
That's why when I was actually asking you to begin with.
Oh no!
You be looking in the straight. I was like this, so
maybe you popped your head up, and I was talking to dude.
But nah, to me, like what some of the benefits is, like, and it's actually crazy that we even got to that. We even talking about like how Black people lead, like, overwhelmingly when it comes to creative space, and how our ideas are the ones that are stolen and exploited and used to really profit other motherfuckers. Think about all the record labels, people that own record labels that making millions of dollars off Black music. Who owns most of the record labels? And you ain't got to talk about it, but it's just. And when I think about that AI, I think it can help us create the creativity, or get the creativity out there so fast to where it can't get exploited because it's already created. We don't need these big machines. We don't need a record label to help push our music. We don't need a movie studio that's owned by somebody that don't look like me to help get my movie idea out there. And that's kind of where I was gonna go. I mean, there's a lot of y'all know Mike Fresh. He done been on here. He was in your video from Rock Hill. Me and him was talking last because we in the Wealth Squad together, and like we was trying to create like because I've been trying to get the GPT shit going for the last couple of days. But I'm trying to create one, or just the algorithm to where you can look at stock, and give you the best stocks every month, or every week, or every day, however you want to program it. And based off, I know the indicators, I can, set certain parameters. If it hit this indicator, that indicator, let me know. Go scan all that stuff. So there's different as far as Black people. We have the creative juice. The AI give us the tool, to bring all that creative juice to fruition and can bypass a lot of these systems that's been exploiting us. And that, to me, that's the biggest benefit.
Yeah, but honestly, the reason why I wanted to hear, you know what I mean, because I couldn't off the cuff think of anything, but that makes, I mean, both of what y'all just said, that shit makes a lot of sense. Like you say, it frees up the time where these, like you said, these minute or monotonous tasks, you know what I mean, like setting up the calendar and, you know what I mean, just a whole bunch of that stuff that the logistical, so to speak.
Whole bunch of stuff we end up going to somebody else to do.
Right. Or you just aren't able to get it off the ground because it is so much to handle it.
Means of production.
Yeah, so like that makes sense. It's I mean, we only don't talk about the positive, so I think that y'all handle that very.
No, I want you to give me something positive.
Shit, bro.
That nigga ain't do his homework, bro. It's all right.
I want you to give me something positive.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can. It allows that extra layer of creativity without having it to demand so much time. Being able to something like the Chat GPT, John. I got a homie that has used it, and he does like graphic design, and so just the ability to kind of it could take your creativity to the next level. You know what I mean? And like I said, lower the time that it takes to actually complete said thing.
I actually do see the benefit. I do see that I actually am enjoying right now. Kind of, I like the fact that you can make copy. as far as like what you're typing. Like I'm a creative myself, so if you've been doing a website or something like that, a lot of the time you either have to hire a copywriter or come up with what the site's gonna say yourself. And that's really one of the hardest tasks for me. Like I'm not a copywriter. I don't necessarily come up with the best. I'm more on the put it together. Like let me get the image and everything. The copy is a whole different thing, and I think it's great for that. Like being able to come up with different unique ideas. The only thing I will say is I can't say it really helps our creativity because it's not my creativity that's creative. I just thought of a prompt to put in.
Stay positive, Tone.
I'm gonna stay positive. I'm gonna leave it there. Copy. Copyright.
I'm gonna get him, bro.
Copyright. I'm gonna leave it at copyright.
but that's a good point you made though, because like you don't think as a creative that's actually, using it, and I want to make this point clear too. One of the biggest things they exploit from black people since they've made slavery illegal is our IP and our intellectual property and our creative brains.
Shout out to Just Pearly.
That's one of the biggest. Yeah, we talked about that. But that's one of the biggest things that they take from us. So you don't think that being able to just use your shit and having a means to create without going to any other own entity, you can use that to create. That doesn't give you an advantage as a creator.
I think it does. I can't say an advantage. It gives you an advantage to some degree, but at the same time, when you're relying on other stuff to create stuff, you don't do it yourself, so you take away the opportunity for learning. And I've learned that personally, like in graphic design over the past few years. Like some of the stuff, I have easier methods of like making flyers now. So the degree to me coming up with a flyer just off the top of the dome now is a little bit different than it was before I started doing the method that I use now, which is faster, and I can get a flyer done faster, but I don't necessarily have all of the benefits I would have had if I would have did it the hard way and went through everything the hard way.
No, that's a big fact.
That's a great point.
It's the introduction of the calculator. Like,
exactly.
Like we stopped having to learn how to do square root when you could just hit that button. And so you got the same calculations. My bad, I'm going.
Yeah, we're going to the negative. That's why you was. I was figuring that's what Johnny was. My bad. Yeah, it's so easy to get into the negative.
Don't was leading me down that road, man. I
don't know how you can talk about the positives without talking about the negatives.
Yeah, because we've talked about the negatives before. We always talk about the negatives. Anytime we bring up AI.
And this was Rainbows and Sunshine with Johnny P.
No, just sunshine.
Okay.
Oh, my bad.
Just sunshine.
You ain't used to... Never mind.
Nah.
You used to live in Atlanta.
While we on the topic of AI...
You was post Freaknik, Johnny?
I was post Freaknik, yeah. I was posting, yeah. My sister live in Atlanta. I don't live in Atlanta. I just visit sometimes. Not for me.
You just get your feel when you out there.
It's not, I don't get no feel. Where we going? Where we going, man?
You gotta go to the next question, my boy. I think that's it.
Real quick though, before we go up to AI, have y'all heard the Jay-Z AI song or the Kanye AI song?
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah. Universal banned AI from doing any of their songs. In which, I actually get it. Like when I heard the Travis Scott version of Pop Smoke song, I say, "Oh shit." Because of like, cool. I think it was the end of the night.
Tell the difference.
Well, it sounded like Travis Scott, and he performed the song uniquely better than Pop Smoke did. And once that happens, like that's it. Like Travis Scott really ain't gonna have to make like you can just get somebody to do a sample record for him, algorithm that shit. That nigga ain't even got to do it no more, bro.
I will say,
especially if you can copyright your own algorithm to your voice. Damn, that's probably the next thing.
The algorithm bar.
Damn.
Is
Yeah.
The algorithm. Because I heard an AI Jay-Z verse.
Oh, AI, my bad.
It just like was a created verse.
Oh, and it said write it inside the tone and perspective of Jay-Z.
Shout out Tone, but it wasn't as fire as Jay-Z. It wasn't a Jay-Z.
But that's because we in beta.
That first one wasn't. I heard another one. It's the one I heard. The second one sounded just like Jay-Z, like a Jay-Z
the
song. The
bars and everything.
And the Kanye, you don't think that they only gonna get better, bro?
Yeah, that shit. It ain't gonna take long.
And the Kanye one I saw was even worse.
Technology's evolving. Yeah, they said that what?
We going negative, fellas.
No, we ain't even talking. We just talking in general.
Yeah, we slide.
We change conversations. We change conversations. You know. It's a different question now. Like, what do you think of it? I ain't even go nigga. Hey, what do you think of it?
I don't think.
But no, I mean,
but I think it ain't gonna be.
I think it's a good conversation, and like, I mean, really, to be completely honest, that's why I even started trying to get the ChatGPT on my computer is because.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get. I mean, I figured that I can't fight it now.
Yeah,
well, go ahead and start figuring out ways to be.
Well, I want to create a song like. Well, I want to take
this nigga trying to got dog.
This is why he like it. This nigga about to become a rapper now. He done figured it out.
All his life, boy. That's been the goal the whole time in the background.
Yeah, he like, oh nah, they about to let me do it now. Why is he put these 5 props in here? A nigga from Rock Hill struggling with a Jay-Z perspective.
Give me bars. Give me bars.
Give me Kanye production.
Give me bars.
With a Jadakiss tone. That's what he wants. I already know, bro.
Give me bars.
Can AI make beats yet?
With Chickmunk samples. That's it, Johnny.
Oh, exactly.
I know.
He threw the
I know it, bro.
Do they got AI making beats yet?
Well, I would say that I have heard. I know that they have AI. What's the word? Not inputs. What's the plugins that we have? Plugins in which it does it. Like it reads like the chord progressions XYZ, and it'll come up with different versions of you know what I mean, like 808s or different like patterns for you to play around.
Jay-Z song I heard, I think that was a unique beat. You know, I think it was.
No, again, let me shut up because it's only gonna be negative. Go ahead, Johnny.
Oh well, nah, but the negatives don't have to be negative if we take the what's it called the proactive steps to get ahead of stuff because
like what we was talking about regulating it.
No, I'm talking about black people. I'm talking about black people.
I'm talking about black people.
I'm talking about
that's a cheat code. Talking about regular. No, I'm talking about black people. I'll hit the tip out button. I don't have anything else.
Okay. Well, I think that'll be unless anybody else has anything positive or beneficial before we move on.
I'm eating gushers, man.
That's positive. Yeah, I like gushers. Shout out to the gushers. But I guess we'll go ahead and switch gears and go to Rev.
Yeah, what I got is about it may be a bit of a rant. You know what I mean? It's not a question. I'm not posing a question to y'all.
I'm making a statement.
It's a statement. Bro, I think that, and I'm talking about men specifically. You know what I mean? There's some things that I don't want to hear that. But women such and such, nigga, we already went over that earlier in the goddamn conversation. What we need to do is, men, I think that there's certain ground, how I want to say, a foundation of like growing up. There's a certain, it looks a certain way. It moves a certain way. You know what I mean? There's a level of growing up that we need to do and stop. Like, I know a nigga that's grown man, 30 plus.
What'd he do?
That would rather fold money. You're in the J. Cole verse. Like, why the fuck don't you have a wallet, bro? For that man. You should have a wallet as a grown man. As a grown man, you should have a wallet. As a grown man, you should have a pair of hard bottoms or some type of dress shoe, some kind of casual, something that you can go into a place and, you know what I mean, a place of prestige and look like you fucking belong.
No, that's
you know what I mean? These excuses and then all the sagging pants and like, what are we doing? What are we doing? At what point do you say to like, okay, there's a grown man looks like this and carries himself like this and has a value and morality of this, and at what point? Like, what are we waiting for 50? Are we waiting for 50? Like the standard of like the like even in the financial realm of things, like niggas still coming up with the same excuses and bro, it's literally a point to where you have to be I guess what is it or accepting accountability and accepting societal norms. Some of this shit just is what it is.
That's what I want to push back on. Maybe like the societal norms. Like I'm with you when it comes to accountability and I made these decisions, so I got to deal with these consequences. Mm-hmm. I'm with that. But societal norms, when it comes to that, why, like when growing up, why should somebody necessarily like live by another person's calendar or schedule. Like
right.
you can be grown and still operate on your own time frame. You don't necessarily have to. Like societal norms is where I'll push back, because like society fucked up. I don't care what society got going on. I'm doing me, and I'm moving at my own pace. So I don't give a fuck what society say.
Okay, and I understand that, right? So this is not a thing where it's like anyone has to do a damn thing. You can continue doing what you're doing. When I'm, or not talking about you, but just that whoever that person may be in whatever that area in which they're making that decision, you can continue to do whatever you're doing. At the end of the day, it's the result of said thing is still what it is. You're still going to have to deal with the results of it. So what I'm saying is that if I'm going in, let's say I work at a bank, and I'm going into the institution, and they allow me to wear dress casually.
But you don't make as much money. You don't close the deals the way you do wearing a suit.
What I'm saying is that at the end of the day, you're still your current, what you bring into that is for your next position. The way that you're pushing yourself forward is to be treated the way that you want to be treated. Getting to that next place. So there's a certain level of groundwork that you're going to have to do in presentation that actually is required for this next place up. Does that make sense?
In the traditional sense, for sure. But I would go to the example of like a motherfucker like Mark Zuckerberg. Motherfucker used to show up to $1 million meetings in robes.
But wasn't it Mark Zuckerberg? Well, he created something, didn't he?
Facebook, yeah.
Okay.
But he right. There was a time and point where they weren't bringing in any money, because Facebook don't sell nothing. They it's all ad revenue. Where he had,
they was in the hole for years.
Years.
They didn't know how to turn a profit.
They were not making profit,
and
he used to go into the. But he it was a thing. I'm talking about in debt. He used to go in a deficit, operating in the red. He used to go because he knew what he had. He used to go into these $1 million meetings in a fucking road with a card that said "fuck you," I'm Mark.
And I feel you. At the end of the day, how many times are we gonna? It's to me, I think that's almost like the same thing. It's like, well, they're doing it. It's like the exception to the rule. So what is the point of that? It doesn't have to be the exception.
Everybody but that thing when it comes to entrepreneurship and not working in these systems, it don't necessarily have to be the outlier. It can
go ahead. I see you've been over there cringing like a motherfucker the whole time.
I ain't really been cringing. I was only listening. So there's a part that I agree with. Then I think there's a part that goes against like a part of like what your core value piece is, where like a piece of. All right, so the part that I disagree with is like there's a materialistic space in which like your judgment is on, and like the idea like you have to look and speak and be this specific way and have these certain little trinket things, i.e. like the wallet, the folding, da 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 da. I think that where there is a space of maturity. I don't know. Tell me where I'm off at.
Trying to figure out why the fuck Johnny looking at me like that. But at the same time, I mean, to me, I thought based on what I was saying, I didn't feel like any of that had to do with trinkets or.
So I'll get.
Go ahead.
So I think that when you let off speaking down the line of like a lot more of like possessional things, the way you look, and that's even more so where like Johnny was kind of pushing back at. Where you're saying like the hard bottoms, making sure that you're not folding money, like all these different little things, in which I don't know how much I necessarily care about that part as much as the other part that you said.
What's that?
Where it's speaking about like at a certain age and maturity, I think that there are certain things that you do that you should have, and have those things lined up. There's a certain level of morality, a certain way that you should move,
accountability,
like accountability, X, Y, and Z. But I think that some of those other things are European standard shit. Like when you're talking about like how you look at a job in comparison, when you're talking about going into X, Y, and Z establishment and fitting in, this now is the part where it's like, are you capitulating to white people and white people shit?
No, and I can understand that.
That's the part that I'm saying.
But it's also I understand what you're saying 100%. But my question would be that, are you working at a white person's institution? Because if you're working at a white person's institution, then there are a level of their rules that are just the rules that you're going to have to play. And you can opt out of playing it, but then your progression could hinder your progression. So you can be doing yourself a disservice just because I want to be this and they can't tell me this. So it's up to you.
Can I ask a question?
But as far as the wallet thing, I think that first off, the wallet thing is the thing where it's like, okay, the reason why niggas have wallets is so that you don't lose things, so that you can keep up with your thing. So that's the reason I think that I mean, it's the organization that comes with adulthood that you have a wallet so that you don't lose things. It's the same thing as like if you have like a little thing that a way to keep your keys. That's the part because you lose your keys that is a high value to that. So you want to maintain those things. So it's a part of growing up is the understanding that these things are very important and I don't want to lose these things. So I have to make those necessary adjustments to make sure that they are on my person.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'm gonna push back too.
Let's go.
I'll push back because like, no, I'm just ask the question first. I'm gonna just ask the question because like you say, like, are we working at a white people's institution?
Mm-hmm.
Most of us are, but if you could say what would be ideal for black people, would it be working for white people or would it be us pushing towards like more entrepreneurship, free market society where we work? So some of the first beginnings of us detaching from some of these systems we've been
is what
attached to.
So right now, are we talking about like adhering to a dress code at your job?
No, what I'm talking
or like to me, when you said that, I took it as like when you go out somewhere and like you're capitulating to what like people of this place might do. So for example, I'll just make this quick example. Yesterday we went out to dinner at Leo's Italian, whatever. And there was a restaurant right beside it named Bentley's or something like that, and there it looked like the South Park area. So
I know that.
Yeah, I think that like we was kind of like casual, like so like I had like a collar shirt, some jeans, some casual sneakers type shit. The restaurant right beside it, Bentley's. I think we seen a group. I mean, not even a group. It was two people walking out.
Yeah, you going that joint?
You got
different.
And
I've been to Bentley. You got
no, yeah, and it looked like she was pretty much inside like a prom dress. It was a black woman. Dude, he kind of was like he probably was like shirt and like jeans a little bit. Like but homegirl was like dressed up to a T. And to me, inside like that's more so the scenario that I hear you talking about than like the dress code thing. Because to me, like obviously, if it's a dress code, it's your job. You should adhere to it. If not, you should probably be fired. Like it just is what it is. Like there is a certain level of corporateness to I mean, like. But
I'm not even just talking about like if there's a dress code. What I'm saying is that as a man, that's like I feel like there are certain things that, and for some reason, it maybe they're just not being taught like that anymore. Like and then there's a level of like myself, I don't want to go somewhere and that the youngin got on the same thing I got on, because that either means that I'm dressing like kids or kids are dressing like adults.
But I'll push back on that because my pops taught me like he was military, he worked and like he was first black principal of the school in Rock Hill.
Oh, that's dope.
Like back in the day, and there's a lot of things where he taught me about like you gotta look good in front of these motherfuckers. Me as a grown motherfucker and knowing like who these people are, I don't feel the same way about that as my pops do. I feel you do have to dress for certain occasions. You don't want to be underdressed. It's not as bad to be overdressed, but that's still a thing too. You should dress for the occasions, but dressing to impress.
No, it's just and I ain't talking about to impress. So let me ask you this: do you think that there's a difference between the way that a man should dress and the way that a child should dress?
When you say child, what age range?
Let's say a teenager.
What are we talking about? What's a man doing? We talking about a man at work or a man just chilling at his house?
Because everybody gonna have on sweat.
I mean, that's just whatever.
Like everybody gonna wear Nike Tech. Like from kid to adult, like everybody got on a Nike Tech or some sweats or a graphic tee. So like if you're chilling,
in general.
And that's what.
So do you think that there should be a difference? And even let's just go in. We can look at men. Well, no, we're gonna keep it on men for this conversation.
I think the clothes make the man. I think the man.
I don't believe that, and I would agree with that.
But like for example, what Johnny has on right now, an 18-year-old could literally have this exact outfit on.
I agree.
But Johnny also had like, but it's like there's a context to it.
Yes.
Where literally same thing. Like I graphic tee and sweats. I think that it kind of just doesn't matter. Most people kind of like just be wearing what be comfortable to them. And it's to me, it's very specific items that are like kiddish and not. So like the small little purse bag thing. I ain't gonna wear that. I ain't got that one for you.
The satchel?
Yeah, the satchel. Like the little thing that's like it's certain items that I'll push away from.
I ain't gonna lie, I had a satchel.
That's what that's where you keep your pistol.
That's what them young boys keep their pistol.
Hey, if that's what they do, that's good for them. Like to me, it's certain like super trendy things that I won't do, but like regular to me, athleisure in general is has pushed across almost all boundaries where you see anywhere you go, especially like the Nike Tech graphic tee thing is almost up and down the age ranges.
I think the thing is that are we too comfortable? Are we wanting to be comfortable all the time? I think that's where it is. The level of comfort is just like
when I can be comfortable, why wouldn't I?
But let me ask you
But the way you present yourself to the world makes a difference.
But if you're not working a job where
if you're comfortable at home, of course you should be comfortable in the confines of your house. But that's like the do-rag shit. When we was growing up, like my mom, you wasn't gonna wear a do-rag outside the crib. Unless you snuck and did it, which we often would do.
That's different. We used to wear do-rags everywhere.
Do-rag in the car.
In the car. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. Y'all couldn't wear the do-rag
until you step out.
You take that shit off.
We used to taking that shit off. Like it was like there's a just.
I remember that shit.
So this is kind of reminding me of, I could be wrong, but respectability politics or politics of respectability, however you want to say it, where like where you pretty much like conform to societal's like standards of what's acceptable. So while you guys are having this conversation, that's what's popping up in my mind.
No, that's a good, yes.
That's pretty much the way this is.
That's
where we're pushing the lines.
That's a good word for what we're talking about.
Yeah, and okay, so you know what I think of too is like the idea of like if let's say that I was selling drugs, then why look like a drug dealer?
That's just smart. That ain't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like to me, it's just putting that. It's the same thing. Like if I'm not, and then like let's say like the whole idea with locks, right? And why I stay in the hood. You know what I mean? Either way, we'll get to the financial portion of those type of decisions later on. But I like the duality of the locks with the hard bottom
and jeans.
I like the.
Now, this one time he did get you. He got you with that one.
He didn't get me because I don't have on hard bottoms.
Oh, those are hard bottoms.
These are
about to be a fight now.
Oh.
You good.
So are you saying that at a certain point in time you need to put more effort into your appearance?
I think that it's not like a things based thing because you can go to fucking Goodwill and get all of the stuff that I'm talking about. So it's not trinket based. Like it doesn't have to have value. Mm-hmm. It's about projecting adulthood versus with the way that you grew up as a child. So it's one thing to be like sagging pants at 35. That's one thing. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about like just to me, I feel like there's a level of a man like I think that like wearing cologne and like just presenting as a adult man. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know what I mean? Getting into and honestly, I think that what it did is like for me getting into this shit, it was dope to me. It's even like it's dope. It's still dope to me because it's something like learning. I don't think that we learn it. I don't think that we're really taught it. So it's something that we just like, yeah, I'm just going to feel comfortable all the time and just look like I'm at the house all the time.
Well, I'll give you certain shit because there's certain shit I do like cologne. That's something where I haven't always, like I've had like waves. I used to be in it, not so much. Mm-hmm. But that's one where I think as a grown man, yeah, you should have a couple.
Having a good smell is.
Well, you should have a couple colognes to where when if I go and listen, like I get that, but that's not like based off any societal norm. Where like I feel like I should wear a tie. You know, like wearing ties and stuff is where like that societal conformity comes from. But like there's certain stuff like as a grown man, yeah, it's just cool to be grown and be put together. But but there is a fine line when it comes.
It's a level of respect that comes with that shit
too. But that's part of that fine line when it comes to like respect. It's like whose respect am I looking for? It is like
everyone's,
but like
you don't look for everyone's respect.
Yes, but I don't have to wear. I'm not gonna wear a tie for everybody's respect either.
Yeah, I don't know. For me,
I'm not,
if it came down to it, I would wear a tie for everyone's respect.
Because I have a tie or don't have a tie. I don't need like like real talk. Like they ain't like if you can't respect me for who I am,
but I don't know who you are.
But you can talk to me. But so why would you respect me because I have a tie on? If I'm an ain't shit person,
my thing is
I could be ain't shit with a tie on, and you respect me, but I could be a solid individual without a tie.
What I'm saying is that like we can try to combat the societal norms and try to like I'm gonna go against this shit. I mean, you can do that.
Or we could change them, and we could like
up
on this shit.
But I don't know. I guess sometimes it seems like we'd be kind of trying to be constrict to like a lot of like very older things that are antiquated and dilapidated to an extent where, like for example, like my industry that I work in, none of these rules that you're saying apply at all. Mm-hmm. So in tech, it just doesn't apply.
Yeah, tech isn't free.
Like I mean that makes sense.
No, but and that's what I'm saying.
It's like creative space, or creatives don't fucking go with.
It's performance based.
No, but
you get the job done.
And it's what you know. But my thing is that
creative spaces generally you don't go in creative spaces where they're in suits and ties and fucking hard bottoms.
True enough. But I guess what I'm saying is just the way that society in itself has evolved is that it's not as much heavy on just looking the part. It's more so, what are you actually doing? And that's even where people kind of speak towards like the millennials or Gen Z, Gen X, whichever the newer ones is, in which their whole thing is that productivity. If I can get the shit done in 4 hours, what I'm working 8 hours for.
In my industry, like
performance based. Like as long as you get the job done, you ain't got to wear that tie, bro.
I'm even go further. Like in the sales, because that shit, it used to be suit and tie shit. It didn't change from that. And what I have found is the motherfuckers who be wearing the suit and ties are the worst salespeople. Mm-hmm. And they wearing that shit to try to get a little extra air. And the motherfuckers who are the best salespeople, they don't give a damn. They'll come in like wearing whatever because I'm good at I know what I do. I don't need a tie to sell a car. Now, if you can't sell a car, you might feel like I ain't need a car. I ain't need a tie to sell a car because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. But and that's like what he's saying. It's like. And that's sales. That's different. That's outside of tech. That's where sales.
Yeah, no, I think that's generally like more times than not now. It's more pushed towards like the production and exactly how qualified you are at doing the thing. But I'm gonna throw the ties now. Go ahead.
I think this is just what I think. I think instead of so much of like putting emphasis on specific things, I think people just need to focus on overall hygiene. So, like, don't go out with dirty clothes on. Make sure that you look
things are well
clean. Make sure you look, healthy as you can. Make sure there's no dirt up on your fingernails. Mm-hmm. Like, work on your dental hygiene. Work on your bodily hygiene. Like, just keep yourself overall together. I think
kept and groomed. Yes.
Yeah, especially at a certain age. Like, there's no point that you shouldn't know certain things. Like, you shouldn't be wearing sweaty clothes that you wore yesterday today. Like, it's just certain things that shouldn't be done. As men. But that's all I can say. Just focus on your overall hygiene. Make sure you look clean, you look healthy, you are well kept to the best of your ability. And yeah.
No, that's important too. Like, that's more important. That's probably like the most.
And that's why I think like the maturity part. I think a lot more of that comes down with like
being clean.
The financial space of it. The maturity and how you outlook and your morality and different things. I again, like that's the part that I definitely agree.
Working,
like starting to accrue a certain amount of different little things off the checklist of the man checklist, and I think that is fair, for sure. Whatever that ends up looking like, but I do put that more on not as much on the like visual aesthetic spots as much as like the means of what we tend to judge a man on, which is what you're bringing and what can you actually do and supply, for sure.
But I would definitely say as a man, you should definitely pour into yourself. Like, pour into yourself, make sure you're taken care of, because when you take care of yourself, it's going to show anyway. Mm-hmm. It's going to show in the way that you keep yourself up. So I would say definitely pour into you. I know a lot of guys push themselves to the back burner for, whatever their responsibilities are, but make sure you take the time to actually pour into you as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with y'all. It sounds like y'all disagree. And I mean, I still feel the same way I felt to start the conversation. It's fine. I mean,
it's giving you another.
However,
we were throwing it to you to end it, wrap it up, give your final perspective.
Oh yeah, my final perspective is, me and y'all start. I say that this is my opinion, and I don't. Yeah, I think you should not look like children. I think that you should grow to an age to where whatever the idea of what a man should look like to you, you should decide to make that switch. I think that, a wallet is a start. Don't have money folded up in your pocket is a start. You know what I mean?
Don't have money on you.
Yeah. Why are you carrying cash? You know what I mean? To begin with, is a start.
Yeah, we really get money.
Get a bank account.
No cash.
And those are things I'm outputting.
Yeah, and then
build your credit to a certain level.
Yeah. All of that
credit.
Start finding the way to start having assets over liabilities. Make sure that you're you know what I mean, developing a plan when it comes down to investments, and exit plan from your 9 to 5, even if that's like through your 401k all the way down.
And then another thing that old head put me on is that you never put yourself always have something in the tuck. You don't put yourself in a situation where a motherfucker can talk to you any kind of way and treat you any kind of way, and you have to stay. You don't do that to yourself. Yeah. Because you allow yourself to be beaten down and beaten on, and it's because you need. You always have that, you know what I mean, that fuck you bag in the tuck somewhere where you can, you know what I mean, let a mug know that.
I can see where you're coming from, because there are certain people where they feel like if you need them, they're going to treat you like crap.
Oh, yeah.
So I can definitely get that.
Sure.
But however, back to the looks thing, Steve Harvey did say every man should have 3 suits.
I agree with that too.
Just gonna say,
I'm just gonna say, bro. At the
I
end
don't
of the
think
day,
you need 3 suits anymore.
I don't think you need 3. I think you need a good black one for sure.
If you should have a black and a blue one, or you could just have 2 jackets and 3 pants.
Yeah, however
I like the black and the gray, because the black and the blue one, they so close.
Blue jacket, gray pants too.
And that's actually about. I think I got a black, gray, and blue.
Yeah, I like to go gray, blue.
But to me, you gotta at least have the offset.
That's why I say two jackets.
However you mix it,
pants and or 3 pair of pants, and then you have
have a nice brown shoe, black
combination.
However you mix it as a grown man, you should have a suit.
No, you definitely gotta have
multicolor the slacks. Yeah. No, I mean I think that you for sure should have that versatility to be able to dip into that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, and be able to dress for wherever the occasion is that you're going. If you're going to Walmart, you can throw in your Nike Tech. If you're going to Bentley's, go ahead and make sure you can get in a casual bag and still be fly.
Wear that tie like Jeremy was saying.
Yeah, I don't like ties.
Put that tie on.
I like to make sure.
To me, if I was gonna wear a tie, I'm a bow tie it.
Bow ties.
No, I guess it was because I was in the military and they was so
still a tie.
That was the tie thing was like a very freaking. It was aggravating.
Here's the real.
But also don't go to that festival inside a goddamn
a bow tie.
No, I can't tie a bow tie.
Yeah, nah.
I've never even tried to tie a bow tie.
Tying a tie is basic.
Yeah, I can't
can you tie a bow tie?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You can.
Nah.
Hey, this nigga act like he was goddamn tying bow ties.
Hey, I've actually done it before. It's not that hard.
This is not real. So,
yeah, you seen that?
Yeah, but
he liked that at tying bow ties or some shit. I was like, nigga, I might have to let you show me or something.
Hey, real. So this is what I do want to know.
Yes.
So we fast forward to 2024. It is April 1st. Dreamville Fest has been announced. All your favorite artists is out there. What's the Dreamville Fest fit looking like?
Well, it's hot, so I'm definitely gonna be in some shorts and a t-shirt. I get hot easily, so not for a fest outside. Yeah, shorts and a t-shirt.
I'm gonna leave you alone, bro.
No, bring your ass. I don't care.
I was gonna say hard bottoms or sneakers.
Sandals. He's bringing the OG cookout
with the shorts,
with the weed hat.
Yeah, you gotta have the sandals. If you gonna do that, the shorts, anything. If you're not gonna wear tennis shoes, bro, but you should wear tennis shoes. But if you're not, bro, you can't wear the hard bottoms with the shorts, bro. That's out.
Nah, I feel it, bro.
And then you know something too I hate about this shit. These niggas literally don't pay no attention to what motherfucker have on, and then make the jokes on what you wearing.
No, it's based on your position.
It's based on your position.
Yeah. You came in talking about social norms and dressing to fit social norms
and maturity, not looking like young boys.
Oh yeah,
so that's why I said like
if you go to an outside festival,
you almost you gotta look like regular festival attire.
Yes.
What you say, young boy shit is.
Oh yeah. You go to a festival, that's completely different. Anything outside of the summertime is different.
Wearing the same thing as an 18-year-old at a music festival.
And that's
you might be.
But this is why I was trying to understand exactly where you were talking about inside these things.
Hey, I was about to say though, at 35, there are different levels of quality to stuff. You can be wearing the same thing and still be different. Like a white tee is not just a white tee. Like depending on where you get it from,
you gotta up your you gotta pay attention.
And
see the thing,
but I agree with that. But that's a different conversation. Like I think that in general, like you want to have quality of whatever you're doing for sure.
And it's the size you buy. You know what I mean? It's the size you buy. It's you know what I mean? It's all. And see, the thing is, I think that
goes with times. Though.
It's the fit and quality.
The fit and quality. So, like, when you, as an adult man, you start
like, if we get into the style bag, like you can even get into the style bag where, like, there's different versions of fit in which is applicable for adults, and we can go with like the European cut or like a more like somewhat like this would be a great example because you don't really do European cut. You're not baggy, but you're not fitted.
Oh yeah, I don't do the straight shits. No.
Right, but
I'm not
like, there's a specific and I mean you can go with short length. You can go with like it's a bunch of different things in which even
Slim,
with that
straight,
there is a bunch of wiggle room on all of these different things when it comes down to it.
Oh yeah.
The main thing is just making sure that it looks nice. The shit is like you said, quality. I do think that at an adult, there's a certain quality that you need to present yourself with, no matter what you're wearing.
Don't dress like a fucking chap.
I keep trying to understand what that means.
Like, are you talking about like?
Oh, is that what it means? Like Hanes t-shirt?
A lot of dog on regular Hanes tee. The dog got your pants not sitting where they're supposed to sit at.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about like so wearing it a specific kind of way.
Yes,
it's not about the clothes per se.
No. That's what I'm saying. To me, it's not brands and things
it's not
like
the clothes,
that. I don't care about that.
It's how you wear them.
Yeah,
it's just an adult way of doing things. And and the thing is that either way, we'll leave it at there. I feel like we've been I'll leave it there. I think that you shouldn't. Yeah, it's still, at a certain point, men have to go ahead and set themselves aside from the previous self, their previous self. Once you get to whatever that age is, you feel like you should do it. You know what I mean, or whenever that's up to you. But I think that you should start setting yourself aside or setting yourself apart from the childhood, teenage, young man you.
So you're saying like find your style at a certain point, like you need to find your actual style.
Whatever that being a man, whatever that looks like, whatever you're
tell
taking.
them niggas grow up one more time.
Niggas need to grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up, start. You know what I mean? And that's in the way you look, the way you handle your personal life, the acceptance of responsibility, accountability, all of that shit.
The way you communicate.
Yeah, I mean, we still learning that part. See, that's a new one.
That's a big part of growing up.
You know the funny thing?
Communication's hard and it's tricky.
Communication is
one of the ones trying to keep the pie going for another hour and a half.
I'll stop it. I ain't saying nothing else.
The ones that, I ain't gonna say, I don't know if that was so much a part of like manhood and growing into manhood as it is now. I think that, and I was talking to my sister the other day, and she was like harping on like her heart on someone's response to something she said to them, and what I had a man's response to what she said to him, and what I was trying to help her understand is like I know that he didn't make the exact right response. You know what I mean? At the same time, there has to be a level of understanding that like niggas ain't been on this whole idea of like trying to articulate and communicate emotions and stuff in the way we're this is a newer thing. We're used to talking like straightforward.
Oh yeah. Well,
and so in order to we're gonna have to adjust to in knowing how to say what we feel in a way that doesn't come off as you gotta
put that ego aside. Like when we talk,
ego is a thing.
When we talking
all
to
of
your
that.
brother, when we talking amongst family, you can't have that ego. I was having a conversation with my homies yesterday, and tough conversation, accountability conversation. You might have to, but it is tough because he came to me wanting to vent. He wanted to be an event, so Hey, go ahead, say what you gotta say. Also gonna throw a little bit of throw a little bit of that accountability in there and sprinkle some empathy in there, and then but that's it. But I think we're in a good space. We'll Rez tell them niggas to grow up one time. You said, Freaknik wasn't all that bad. That everybody was out there shaking their ass.
Normalize black people being human. That's all I said. Normalize black people being human.
Me, I say the AI ain't all that bad.
Shitting me.
Follow us on YouTube, The 2B Fair Show. Follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at The 2B Fair Show. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button right up there. Let us know something below. Tap in to the pre-show, 12:30 every Sunday. We're going to be going live on YouTube.
1 o'clock or 12:30?
12:30 to 1 o'clock.
On the flyer,
we're going to set it in stone. We're going to set it in stone.
One of them said 12:30, one of them said 1. So
yeah.
We got a 30-minute window.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be 1 o'clock from now on. We'll be 1 o'clock. We just figured that out. But I am your host, Johnny P.
Do it live.
Go ahead, real.
It's Q.
And we out.